Have you ever wondered if you're dating a narcissist? Today, we'll be shedding light on an intriguing topic that many of us encounter in our lives, but struggle to understand fully: narcissism in relationships. This topic isn't just about clinical narcissism, which requires a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. We're also talking about the kind of narcissism that exists on a spectrum where certain traits become more prominent than others. Now, what are these critical traits of a narcissist, you might ask? Well, they often exhibit self-centeredness, a lack of empathy, grandiosity, and a constant need for validation. These are not just traits, they are red flags that can signal you're in a relationship with a potential narcissist. But don't fret, because understanding is the first step to navigating such a relationship. So buckle up, dear listeners, as we embark on this journey of exploration. Stay tuned as we explore these traits in detail. First up, we have the self-centered narcissist. You might be wondering what exactly that looks like. Well, it's a unique blend of traits manifesting into a personality that can be challenging to navigate. The self-centered narcissist has a knack for making every conversation revolve around them. You might be sharing your day or expressing your feelings, but before you know it, they've changed the topic to their latest accomplishment or dilemma. It's as if they live in a world where they are the sun and everyone else merely orbits them. Take, for example, Jane, who's excited about her promotion at work. She's looking forward to sharing the news with her partner, but the moment she starts speaking, he immediately shifts the focus to his own achievements, completely dismissing Jane's accomplishment. It's a classic case of a self-centered narcissist in action. They're not just adept at steering conversations to themselves, but also tend to downplay the experiences of others. Say you've had a tough day at work and you're looking for some empathy. Instead of offering comfort, they might respond with something like, "Oh, you think your day was bad? Let me tell you about mine." This constant belittling of your experiences can be emotionally draining and leave you feeling invalidated. Now, it's important to note that we all have moments of self-centeredness. But for a narcissist, it's not a fleeting moment. It's a constant state of being. They lack the ability to genuinely put themselves in someone else's shoes and see the world from a different perspective. But how do you distinguish between typical self-centeredness and narcissistic behavior? The key lies in the consistency and intensity. If you notice that the person in your life consistently makes everything about them and dismisses your feelings or experiences, it might not be just a momentary lapse. So if your partner always makes the conversation about themselves, you might be dealing with a self-centered narcissist. Next, we venture into the intriguing realm of the empathy-deficient narcissist. Among the various traits that define a narcissist, the lack of empathy stands out as a particularly striking one. To put it plainly, an empathy-deficient narcissist finds it challenging to understand or share the feelings of others. This characteristic is not just limited to not being able to empathize with pain or suffering. It extends to a broader inability to comprehend emotions that they themselves are not experiencing. Picture this. You've had a rough day at work. You're looking for consolation, a sympathetic ear, or maybe just a comforting shoulder to lean on. But your partner, instead of offering support, brushes off your feelings as irrelevant or unimportant. They might even turn the conversation back to their own experiences, completely ignoring your emotional state. This is a classic example of an empathy-deficient narcissist. This lack of empathy can sometimes take on a more sinister form. For instance, an empathy-deficient narcissist may use your vulnerabilities against you, exploiting your emotions for their own gain. It's like they're playing a chess game, and your feelings are mere pawns to be manipulated. This inability to understand or share the feelings of others can make relationships with such individuals extremely challenging. You may often feel unheard, unappreciated, or even invisible. This is because empathy-deficient narcissists are typically so absorbed in their own world that they fail to recognize the needs and emotions of those around them. In a nutshell, the world of an empathy-deficient narcissist is a lonely one, centered around their own thoughts, feelings, and desires. The idea of stepping into someone else's shoes, of understanding their emotions, is alien to them. They struggle to connect on a deeper emotional level, making maintaining a healthy, balanced relationship with them a Herculean task. An empathy-deficient narcissist may struggle to understand your feelings, making the relationship one-sided. Moving on, let's talk about the Grandiose Narcissist. This is a breed of narcissist that struts about with an inflated sense of self-importance. They are like peacocks, flaunting their feathers, seeking to draw all attention to themselves. Imagine a person who constantly brags about their exceptional talents or achievements, often exaggerating or outright lying about them. This is a common trait of the grandiose narcissist. They tend to inflate their own importance, whether it's their intellectual prowess, their physical attractiveness, or their supposed connections with influential people. They live in a world where they are the sun, and everyone else merely orbits around them. Let's take an example. Picture a person who insists they're a world-class chef, even though their culinary skills might be average at best. They'll regale you with tales of their extravagant meals, the celebrities they've cooked for, or the high-end restaurants that supposedly want to hire them. The grandiose narcissist isn't just content with being good at something. They must be the best, most extraordinary, and most coveted. But there's a darker side to this grandiosity. It's not just about inflating their own worth, it's also about diminishing yours. In their need to shine, they often eclipse those around them. They'll dismiss your achievements, minimize your skills, or even belittle you to make themselves feel superior. It's a constant game of one-upmanship, with them constantly striving to be on top. So if you find yourself in the company of someone who seems to be constantly seeking the spotlight, who brags incessantly about their own talents while dismissing yours, you might be dealing with a grandiose narcissist. It's important to remember that this grandiosity is a mask, a facade to hide their deep-seated insecurities. A grandiose narcissist often boasts about their achievements, leaving little room for your accomplishments to shine. It's a challenging relationship, but understanding the nature of their behavior can help you navigate it more easily. Our final key trait is the constant need for validation. Now, this is a particularly prominent characteristic of narcissists. It's a relentless pursuit, a hunger that never seems to be satisfied. Validation for them is like oxygen. They can't do it without it. Imagine being around someone who is always fishing for compliments, who needs their ego stroked incessantly. You'll find them constantly seeking praise, approval, and admiration from others. Whether it's about their appearance, their skills, or their achievements, they are always on the lookout for affirmations that they are the best. However, this constant need for validation often comes with a heightened sensitivity to criticism. Even a slight hint of disapproval can trigger a narcissist, causing them to react defensively or even aggressively. They are not just looking for validation, they are running away from criticism. They've constructed this glorious image of themselves that they must protect at all costs. And this is where it gets tricky. When you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you might feel like you are walking on eggshells. You are constantly trying to avoid saying something that might upset them, while also providing the praise they need. It can be a challenging and draining task. You see, a healthy relationship involves a balance of give and take. It's about mutual respect and understanding. But when you're dealing with a validation-seeking narcissist, the scales are often tipped heavily in their favor. They demand a lot of emotional labor from you while providing very little in return. So, what does this mean? It means that being in a relationship with a narcissist can be incredibly exhausting. You are expected to be their constant cheerleader, their endless source of praise and validation. And if you fail to meet their high expectations, you might find yourself facing their wrath. A validation-seeking narcissist may require constant praise, making the relationship exhausting. So, watch out for these signs and protect your emotional health. To recap, we've discussed 4 critical traits of narcissists: self-centeredness, lack of empathy, grandiosity, and a constant need for validation. We've explored the world of the self-centered narcissist, those individuals who seem to orbit around their universe, often oblivious to the needs and feelings of others. Their self-focus can be so intense that it blinds them to the emotional realities of those around them. Next, we turned our attention to the empathy-deficient narcissist. These individuals lack the ability to step into the shoes of another to feel what they feel. It's not that they don't want to understand your feelings, they simply can't. This lack of empathy is a defining characteristic of narcissism. From there, we moved on to the grandiose narcissists, the ones who live life in the fast lane, always seeking the next big thing. They're often characterized by their inflated sense of self-importance and an insatiable desire to be admired. Their grandiosity can be alluring, but it's usually just a facade hiding deep insecurities. Finally, we examined the validation-seeking narcissist. These individuals are on an endless quest for validation, needing constant reassurance to maintain their inflated self-image. Their need for validation can become a draining cycle as they seek to fulfill an unfillable void. In all these cases, it's important to remember that narcissism exists on a spectrum. Not everyone who exhibits these traits has a narcissistic personality disorder. But even so, these behaviors can still be damaging to relationships. Recognizing these traits is the first step towards understanding the narcissistic individuals in our lives. Recognizing these traits can be crucial in navigating a relationship with a potential narcissist. We hope you found this video insightful. If you did, would you mind showing your appreciation with a quick click on that like button? It's a simple way to let us know that you value the content we're creating. And while you're at it, why not also hit the subscribe button? Subscribing to our channel helps us grow and ensures you won't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. We have a diverse range of content, each video crafted to enlighten and provide you with the needed knowledge. From understanding personalities to navigating relationships, we've got you covered. So go ahead, explore our channel and see what else interests you. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in our next video.